I'm gonna come out of performance mode just long enough to make sure. Nodal, you okay? You gonna make it, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So you all have entered.
Braster's up. I might not be.
The wings room.
Yep. All right. So what are we thinking? We try Angel room first, or do we?
Are we splitting?
Or are we splitting?
I mean, so wait, the thing tried to get into your mind and you pushed it out, right? That's what happened?
Yeah,
so
it seems like it wanted us to walk into the
Do we try and willingly let it, or do we just try and walk into the thing and still resist pushing into our mind?
I'm just going to try to walk into the thing.
Okay, why don't you do that and we'll wait here.
Okay.
Okay, which one do you walk into?
Hold on, stop.
Yep.
I'm going to tie a rope around your little waist and then give you a little push forward.
Like a little push on the bottom?
I'm just gonna pat him on the head and just kind of push him forward. Like, okay, enjoy school.
give him his milk money.
But I've got a tight hold on the rope.
All right, Seeker, what's happening?
All right, I would kill you, but I also might really want that rope. So let's try to make my way through this painting here.
All right. So the first thing that happens is you step directly into the solid wall. And bump your head. And the second thing that happens, I need a wisdom saving throw.
All right, well, since I bump on the wall, I'm just going to let the saving throw fail. And I just call that out to the others.
Okay. Gus, where are you standing? Because I don't see you anywhere in the room.
I'm directly behind him, but I don't know where my...
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Let's find your little...
I don't know where my token is. Where is it?
It's in the other hallway, bro.
It's up your butt.
Gotcha.
Okay. So you watch Seeker step forward, bump into this wall. He kind of furrows his brow, and then you see him just focusing on part of this image. From where you're standing, it just kind of looks like you see the beautiful angel, and you can see some of the details in the background. It looks like the part of the image he's focusing on is something where there's nothing at all, just like a grassy field or an empty spot of the sky, and he's just staring. And staring and staring.
I'll give it 15 seconds, and I'm going to yank him back.
Okay. Seeker, make me a strength athletics check.
Okay.
Actually, make this opposed.
Roll high, because I got those strong little arms.
That's a birdie roll.
Can you beat... you said athletics. Can you beat a 26?
No.
Seeker,
I can't. You rolled high.
You feel the rope tugging you backwards, and under no circumstances are you ready to be dragged out of this picture. These feelings of joy and celebration and peace. You feel that Gus is cruelly tearing you away from it, and you try to tug the rope back, but I mean, you're like a little nothing gnome, and he's like a big Gus.
Yeah, he's a Gus.
So you get reeled backwards, but the sense of euphoria is still drawing you to the wall. Not only that, but now you have this wave of anger as well, because Gus is trying to stand in between you and this deep sense of peace.
All right. And
okay,
yeah,
buddy?
Seagull will just turn around and just go, "What? I'm trying to get in there. Come on, Gus."
Gus is gonna put a hand on his shoulder. Anybody else want to try?
Seeker's just tugging on the rope but can't get out. Starts looking for a knife to cut the rope with.
I mean, I'm sure you're carrying a knife.
I'm just gonna push him to the. I'm gonna sit on him. Is what I'm gonna do.
All right. Seeker, you can dig your knife out, but no sooner do you do than Gus flattens you out on the floor and sits on you.
So I'm like pissed at Gus, but I'm not like murderously so, right?
Not yet. We'll see where this goes.
Okay.
I mean, because right now you can get away from him just by breaking the grapple with your strength athletics or a deck.
And I'm just gonna keep trying to do that.
What's everybody else doing?
Watching this unfold and looking back over his shoulder at the devil mural. Like, what do you think?
So from this distance, you can really only see the figure in the mural. You can't really see the background objects. Seeker, did you break the grapple? And if so, how many?
That's a 12 from me.
Okay, so we just keep rolling opposed?
Yeah, basically. Your strength athletics versus his dex acrobatics.
Alex pulls his gun, his bag of holding, and starts loading toolkits into Scrappy's pack saddle. Grabs the rope that's tied around to Scrappy. Okay, let him go at the same time I go. And ties the rope around his waist.
Hey,
All right.
wait up.
Seeker hears that and stops struggling, since it seems like the problem's about to resolve itself.
So what's next?
I mean, once...
Alexander, do you want me to go with you is my question.
Right now I'm thinking... Seems like maybe it's best to only have 2 people under the effect of whatever this is.
Fair enough.
Give Scrappy the orders to pull you out at the order of somebody else.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Scrappy obey Florian's orders for the next hour.
Florian does the Mr. Burns.
Excellent.
Okay, so what's next?
Watching Alexander as he goes closer to the thingy.
Okay, right now Alexander is standing a full step away from it, though. He's not right up on the wall.
There's probably a button or something hidden in the mural.
I don't know, but you said we were going to do this simultaneously, right? That was the plan? Yes, no, maybe so?
Kind of waiting for Alex to make the move here.
I'm waiting for Seeker to be freed for someone to tell me Seeker's been let.
I'll do it, like, when you say 3, 2, 1, go, we'll do it. We'll just assume we did it simultaneously, so there you go.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, go.
I still got a rope around Seeker.
Alex, make me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Against magic?
Yes.
I think that's just a 9.
Okay, so looking at this horrible, this infinite infernal hellscape, red skies, rivers of blood, you see death, torment, violence, corruption, and everywhere you look, even the places, the plain areas, looking at it, you see an infinite expanse of detail, and no matter what detail you focus on, it reminds you of some sin or some bad thing you've done in your life. And every terrible act you've ever committed seems magnified. And the torments you're seeing in this picture seem justified. And you have this sense that you cannot leave this place until you've atoned for all of these evils you've committed in the way that you see in this image. So right now, Seeker has this like sense of bliss and euphoria, whereas Alexander has this sense of like deserving this infinity of torment for the crimes and sins that he's committed in his life.
Does anything about the compulsion prevent me from vocalizing that?
No.
Yeah. Okay, fuck. I mean, alright, there was that time that I tricked my dad into opening up that embassy. That ended really poorly. Oh, god damn it.
Florian. Lucius.
What?
Let's switch them and see what happens.
Yeah, alright.
Yank them, and then we're gonna make them like. So I'm gonna yank Seeker back.
Okay.
Seeker casts Misty Step.
I have a rope tied to you, friend.
Yeah, I Misty Stepped out of it.
Misty stepped out of it.
Go get him, boy.
Okay. Hold on.
And Seeker calls out 5 steps forward, and I'm casting Web.
I think I have more. I think I could do this longer than you have spell slots.
Just give me a minute.
Go get him, boy.
Try to think of the best way to do
So
this.
you're ordering Scrappy to do what?
Pull him away from the painting.
Okay.
As directed.
So, Alex, you feel yourself being dragged away from the painting by Scrappy, and the problem with that is you haven't done any atonement yet. At
Okay.
all.
So should I just continue to pull against the rope? Like, can I just make an opposed check against Scrappy?
Yeah, you're going to try to break the grapple. It's going to be your strength and athletics or your dex acrobatics against Scrappy's strength athletics.
So that's a 5 for me, and Scrappy gets a... nothing. Oh, no, he gets a 12.
Okay, so Scrappy can move Alex to wherever he wants to within his movement.
All right.
Let's move him over here.
10, 20, 30, 40... That's all the farther you can get right now.
All right.
Okay. And what's Gus doing up there?
I'm gonna lightning lash.
Ooh.
Seeker.
I'm gonna stand in between.
What the hell is lightning
Alexander.
lash?
Is
I
that
was
what?
actually thinking this thing. I was actually thinking of using
The
the Thorn Whip cantrip.
yeah. I'm going to take a step back. No, I've got to get him within the grabby range.
I don't have a spell called lightning lash in my thing here.
Lure.
Lightning lure.
Lightning lure. Okay,
Or
gotcha.
lightning
gotcha.
lure. Yeah, right. Yeah. Sorry. I need a strength check from
Strength saving throw.
throw. Yeah, from Seeker. You don't have to roll super high.
I can't roll super high. That's a 5.
That's a failure. So you move here. Actually, I can move you 10 feet
10 feet in a straight line towards you.
towards me. So boom, you're here. But you also take lightning damage. Hopefully, I don't roll high. That's 10 lightning damage.
Okay. So right now, Scrappy has Alex grappled, and Gus does not have Seeker grappled. So what's the next turn look like?
Say I can make a weapon attack. Hold on, let me read one class action before we move on to the next person. Okay, never mind. It's weapon attack.
So Scrappy is going to move Alex. So let's make these. Alex is the one on the left. So we're going to +2 versus a +6. Alex, that resists the movement, right? When I succeed on the opposed roll.
If you succeed on the opposed roll, you break the grapple.
When they try and move me, or as my action. So I think that resists the movement first time.
If you fail that roll and he still has you grappled, then he can move you.
But if I succeed, I break the grapple.
break-
But that's an action, right?
It takes an action to break the grapple,
Yeah.
yes. So Alex is going back.
Yeah. Okay. I'm
Scrappy
gonna.
has movement.
I'm not,
Oh, do you want to take your AO when I walk past you?
We're not on
actually,
initiative right now, so there's no
I'm
reaction.
not gonna take my AO, but my next decision is going to be I'm going to Thorn Whip and Scorpion pull you back toward me.
Okay, what's going on up north here?
I cast invisibility.
Okay.
Seeker disappears.
Remember, there's a lantern of revealing on Scrappy's back.
Yeah, but Scrappy's in the other half of the alcove.
Yeah. Just so you remember, if you walk anywhere within line of sight of Scrappy, you'll be revealed.
I wonder where Seeker is. Where Seeker could have possibly gone. I don't think Seeker's firing on all cylinders, guys.
Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute here.
Okay.
Alexander. Does an 11 hit you?
God, no.
Lucius whips out the barbed ugly chain thing and then is like, well, at least he ain't moving very much. I can try again, I suppose.
Florian, what are you ordering Scrappy to do?
Second verse, same as the first.
All right. It's
Grapple
on the
and
left. There we go. So we got another 40 feet there. 5, 10, and he didn't have to move this time. 20, 25, 30, 35, 40.
Alex,
And yeah.
as Scrappy drags you around the corner, for first thing, his lantern sheds revealing on Seeker. But Alex, the figure on this side, I mean, you remember seeing it before, the angel missing its right arm and right wing, but you see, now it no longer is. It has a right arm and a right wing, but it's devilish in nature. It matches the arm and the wing of the creature in the other half of the alcove. And you know every detail of that arm and every detail of the wing. but instead of holding a barbed whip, the devil's hand is open, palm up, and in the palm, inside of the fresco, is sitting a diamond-shaped glass chip.
Do I have to continue repenting, or can I retrieve that?
You can reach out to retrieve it.
Yep. Take it.
You reach out to retrieve it, but your fingers don't go in to grab it because it's a solid wall.
Yeah.
Lucius.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to break the grapple to even try and do that. What am I saying?
Oh.
Nope. No, Alex is now walking towards this one. Hey guys, I see the chip. Just let Scrappy let me go and I'll go get it.
Burkhardt, you said Lucius, what?
No, delay that because he's still grappled by Scrappy.
Never happened.
Mm.
The thing that would have happened has not happened.
Okay. I will wait for the thing to happen then.
Alright.
Tell me where it is, Alex, and I'll get it for you.
I mean, I'll tell Seeker where it is.
And Seeker, you just don't see it.
Alright, I'll reach where he says it is, though. I'll trust him.
It's not
I'm
there.
gonna grab Seeker by the collar of his neck, the collar of his shirt,
Mhm.
and I'm going to bodily drag him.
All right, well, that counts as a grapple.
Yeah.
So let's resolve Alex and Scrappy first.
I think Scrappy has orders to move me next to this painting, so he's got one more check to make.
Yep.
And he makes it. So, and then Alex will try and grab the thing, so the thing actually happens now.
Lucius, what actually happens? So, Alex, you're thinking I'm going to reach into this incredibly vivid world, the spellbinding fresco, and I'm going to grab this chip. What actually happens is your fingers just ram into the solid wall.
Okay.
However, Lucius, you see along the wall, in between the two alcoves, a small divot kind of pokes out of one of the tiles. And looking at it, it has the same shape and size of one of the glass chips, but it's still sitting flush with a tile of the wall. Like you can smoothly run your hand over it, but it's part of the wall. And staring at it very closely, you can see the little squidge of ink in the center.
Hey, Florian, get Scrappy to drag Seeker over there.
I mean, I made a.
Yeah, I think Gus has a.
I have a. Can you beat a 24?
No.
Okay, well you're grappled, and we're going this way now.
Alright. Misty step.
And I'm gonna walk forward, and I'm gonna do it again.
Okay.
Do you have a better idea?
I'm gonna say, just leave me alone, Gus.
That
was your last
Scrappy
one.
can give you advantage on that.
Alex, now that
Yeah.
you're not sure if it's because you're no longer standing in front of the devil painting, or it's because you've been looking at this angel painting for a while, but you no longer feel those effects.
Okay.
However, looking up at the painting, you see the devilish wing and arm is slowly fading from view.
We got to do this fast. Also, I think I don't feel any sort of compulsion anymore, and I'm gonna order Scrappy to assist.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
What do I need to frickin' do to let you guys leave me alone?
Come look
Go
at
look at the other painting.
I'm gonna
Misty
And
do
then
step
you'll
over
leave me
there.
alone?
Yes.
Yes.
Misty, step over there, and we'll leave you alone.
Okay.
Yeah,
But this is a deal.
it is a deal.
And as you
You
go,
have my word.
as Seeker moves around the corner of his own volition, he gets about to the corner before he realizes that moving away from this painting goes against everything he knows to be good and right in the world.
Hey, Seeker, I'm gonna roll to hit you. Sorry, but I need
you
to
can
get
grapple
you
him
over here.
again. Oh wait, no. Shit. I didn't. take
Seeker
one.
realizes that on the one hand, he just made a very good deal, but on the other hand, he can't go around the thing and he just freezes. He doesn't know how to deal with this problem.
And after a few moments, you are going to start walking back towards the fresco.
Yeah, we're
hey,
gonna
so-
dog pile. We're gonna badger pile him.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
We're just stopping him from moving. Pull him.
Fair enough.
Well, no, I mean Scrappy's got 40 feet of movement, so.
Do your thing, guys.
18 on opposed athletics.
I can't win.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35.
Okay. Seeker, you have the same experience that Alexander just had, but in reverse. You see the angelic wing and arm appearing kind of like an after image in this fresco, but instead of holding a flaming sword, the angel is holding, palm out, a glass chip in its hand.
Yeah, I'll try to grab it really quick so these guys will stop fucking bugging me.
And same thing, you can't reach into the wall, it's solid, but Lucius,
Yep.
after a moment, you hear a soft clank at your feet as the depression in the wall pushes the rest of the way out. The chip emits from the wall and lands on the floor at your boots.
Got it, everyone.
And over the course of the next few seconds, Seeker, you feel that compulsion fade away as you watch the angelic parts of this fresco also fade away.
We got the thing. We're good.
Ugh.
How you doing, Seeker?
Did you hit me with lightning?
He's back.
That was your best idea?
No, you're I'm gonna blink.
Who is taking the glass chip? Who's holding it?
Seeker will take it. I took the pain for this one.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. And are we done with this room?
We are
Yeah,
done
well,
with this room.
Okay, let me very carefully make sure that I save the right one. This is number 3.
Tearing the bandage off. I told you I was right. We're gonna have to go through the spanking machine.
So, do you have any spell slots left, or did you use them all on Misty Step?
Oh, I have so many spell slots left. I could do that all day.
Alright, so that was 3. We've done 1 through 4 now. So where is number 5?
Up
You're
here.
lucky I didn't take counterspell.
Yeah.
The funny thing is I did.
So Brick Road, I am going to point out that you missed the opportunity to have number 5 and be tree.
Why is
That's
that?
a reference. Evil Tree, Final Fantasy V.
That's kind of a stretch.
No,
Oh,
it's,
jokes.
mm,
I love jokes.
it's
Where
not a
am I?
stretch.
All right, everybody ready for whatever fresh hell awaits us in Snake?
Yeah, I don't like Snake. I'm just
Me
gonna say that
either.
right now.
Do you want to take a break before Snake?
I could
Snake
I could
break.
go for a breather.
Take a short rest.
Lucius walks over to this bench and plops down on it.
Yeah, Alex, I'll sit down right next to you, light a cigarette, pass you one.
Starts playing the music from Ico when you sit in a bench.
So we've
I'd
done,
go sit on a bench, but I'm worried someone would rip me with lightning and pull me off of it.
So we've done alcoves, wings, slides, and mirrors.
Yep.
Do we want to do crank, or we're doing them
I
in
think
our
going in order just helps us keep organized.
Okay.
Mhm. Gus is gonna go to sleep underneath the
You,
tree.
if we take a short rest, your spider climb will run out, Florian.
Okay.
Only lasts an hour.
Is that what we're doing? We're taking a short rest?
Yeah, I could use a
Yeah.
short rest.
Okay, go ahead and take the benefits of the short rest. Actually, sitting out here in this courtyard, it's extraordinarily peaceful. You can look in all directions. I mean, the hedge, you can't see past the hedge behind you, but if you look down the roads, I mean, you can see the borders of the wood in all directions, and it even looks like the wood itself is pretty well maintained. Like it's kind of equidistant from the courtyard in all directions. However, if you step out down the stairs and go down the road a bit to the point where you can see the sun again, the sun is still moving across the sky, and it will be evening in a few hours.
How far up is the tower?
A fair ways. More than you could reasonably... You would definitely need to fly to get up to the bottom of the tower.
So,
Ow.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, Alex, can you shoot the tower?
I don't think the tower's ever been hostile towards us. I mean, sure, I could. That's easily within range, but...
Why do you want to shoot the tower?
Yeah.
See if it's really there.
I could just send my familiar up there.
Yeah, but you didn't want your familiar to die.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't. Seem
I don't
like
want anyone in the tower thinking that we're shooting at them, or to activate any sort of defenses.
Whatever. It's fine.
No, I'll send Whisper up there
Look,
to
if
go
you
knock
want,
on the
I can
tower
give you
and
a
make sure it's
crossbow
there.
if you want to shoot the tower.
So we're sending the Tressum up to where? To the base of the tower?
Yeah, just to knock on it.
So knocking
Claw
on
at
the
it.
bottom side?
Yeah.
And the Tressum does so?
And I'll have to report, like, yeah, it seems like it's here. And he'll just fly up the side to see if there's, like, anything on the roof.
Flying up the side of the tower. It's about twice again as tall as it is wide. Looking at it from the bottom. So the Tressum has to fly up a fair distance. And the top of it is, again, just flat. Featureless. You would expect the top of a tower this tall that has such a commanding view of the countryside in all directions would have places for battlements. If it was a wizard's tower, you would expect like some kind of orrery or telescope apparatus. But again, no entrances, no doors, no openings that you can see. Just flat, featureless, yellowish stone.
Like, we were told there's a Modron here, though, right? That's why we're here, right? I'm not misremembering that.
Out of character, we were told there's a Modron. In character, we were told there was something that describes a Modron.
All right.
No, the story my grandfather told me was of Eldov and his hut, of a place where it was bigger on the inside than it was on the outside, and it had rooms that didn't match up to where the doors were.
This doesn't look like a hut.
Yeah, it's a tower.
I think
Well,
your
I mean,
grand-
once you're inside of it, I don't think anything looks like a hut from that description.
Wait, so are you implying that the hut is maybe inside out, and so we're seeing the inside of the hut from here, which looks like a tower?
Hey, Alex.
Alex takes a long drag off his cigarette. I am implying that once you start working in end spatial dimensions, your idea of what something looks like should pretty much go to the wayside.
Gus is going to like squint at Alex and say, "Alex, do you have that alchemy jug?"
No, don't have one today. I can make one tonight. I've been using it to build up lantern oil. The lamp burns a lot of it.
I'm just saying this is what the stories my grandfather told me were.
And after, like, a couple more seconds after that, the Tressum arrives and reports back on what it saw.
Mm-hmm.
I say, no, it looks like it's just completely flat all around.
All right, we ready for snakes?
No, but let's go.
And I'll send Scrappy in about 6 seconds before everybody else.
Okay.
Do you have absorb snakes, Gus?
Nope.
It depends. If they spit acid, yes. And I'm gonna like blink and go in after Scrappy.
Okay. Is anybody not going into snakes?
Nope.
I'll go into
Going
snakes.
Oh, that's tempting. Yeah, Florian will go into snakes.
Lauren's like, I'm just gonna stay out here and have a picnic. You guys have fun.
In snakes?
Okay.
That
Yeah,
sounds
with
really
snakes.
good. A non-snake picnic.
A sneak-free picnic.
A snack nick.
Well, it's not a full meal, it's just a snack.
Ah.
15.
No.
Thank you, Treble.
No.
So here is the entrance of snakes.
Ow.
I'm just gonna step
It
here.
looks the same as the other rooms that you've been in, with this difference. Through the center of the floor is pushed up into this like cylindrical protrusion, or perhaps like a tubular protrusion, still attached to the tile of the floor, that literally goes down the center of the hallway and snakes around each of the divots in the floor and then disappears back up this way.
Okay, so I want to make sure I'm seeing this in my mind. When you say protrusion, is it coming out from the floor, or is it like running along the ceiling or something?
the floor. So the floor here is not flat. Down the center of the floor, I've drawn this line. There's this like cylindrical protrusion. Like you can put your hand over it.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Is the floor still tiles? Just part of the tile design includes this protrusion?
It looks like part of the tile design, yes.
Okay.
So there is some irregularity when it crosses from one tile to another. Oh, and Gus is going around.
I'm just peeking around the corner. This
I'm
is
just
a
getting
wall,
some
right?
light over here.
Yep.
Just in
Was
case it matters, I'm not going to cross over the snake. I'll just stay on this side.
Okay. Scrappy can see down here, and I will draw out the rest of your snake. So Scrappy, looking to Scrappy's left here is a dead end. Looking to Scrappy's right, the snake rears up along this wall. And it's a statue of a snake at this point, still made out of the kind of wall tiles, but protruding more and more and more. This great hooded cobra made out of the same material as the tiles of the wall, with a menacing glare. And it's maybe 4 or 5 feet high up along the wall. So the snake comes along the floor, up this wall, and then expands outward and forward into this hooded cobra.
Well,
Got a cobra head over here.
nothing happened to Scrappy, so I'm gonna.
Yet.
I snake rattle and roll my way down this wall.
Now,
I will hit you with the lightning again.
Gus, this side, the snake's tail coils around and around and around and around to the point where it looks like it, with each rotation around, it looks like it shrinks smaller and smaller and smaller to the point from where you're standing, it looks like the smallest part of the tail, where it's going around the divot in the floor, is maybe the width of a pencil. Or even less than that.
Alright, I'm going to try to get as close as I can to it without crossing the snake. So, like, right about here, I guess.
Okay. And make a... You have a light source?
Yeah.
Make a perception check. DC is 10, but I want to know how much you succeed by.
Okay. Should I roll for my familiar as well? It's practically the reason I have them.
I
They're good
don't-
at perception.
Whatever you got to do, man.
For me, that's a 2. For my familiar, that's a 13.
Okay, so the Tressum, you're able to see the snake coiling around and around and around. And it looks like it gets closer and closer and closer to the divot in the center of the floor without ever actually touching it, to the point where this tail of the snake becomes too small to perceive. That point is much closer for you than the Tressum. The Tressum sees it coil around 3 extra times, where you can't even perceive it anymore. And you're betting with even better eyesight than your Tressum would just see it forever shrinking smaller and smaller and smaller as it coils around in a circle.
Alright. Hey, Alex! It looks like it does that math thing! You know, the one where it approaches a thing but doesn't ever actually get there?
Oh yeah, it's a limit.
It's a limit.
Alex
A
is doing
limit?
what?
Yeah,
Oh,
Alex is
good
gonna
to
come
know.
over here and investigate the head of the snake.
It's a very menacing looking statue of a snake.
Mm-hmm.
Roll an investigation check. And what are you doing to investigate?
Pulling out his thieves' tools, and first he'll get a look at it, make sure there's nothing that looks immediately like it's gonna be trapped. Then he'll start probing it with his tools.
Yeah,
See if there's any hidden releases or whatever.
make an investigation check.
That is an investigation of 10, 15. Flash of genius.
So, the statue looks exquisitely made, and similar to the frescoes in the other room. It's like, the closer you look, the more detail you see, like individual reptilian scales. And if you have a light source, you can even see the difference in coloration between the scales. But what catches your eye most is that the snake's jaw looks like it'll hinge, like it opens up somehow. Like you might be able to reach in and wrench it open, or something might something somewhere else in the area might cause it to open, but there's definitely a mechanism there.
Yeah, I'll try and open it up with thieves' tools then.
How so?
I'll try and apply pressure to the bottom part.
Okay.
Use a little leverage if I have to.
I need Scrappy and Florian to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
That's a no for Scrappy.
No for Scrappy. How'd Florian do?
18.
18. 14 points of acid damage, which which Florian can cut in half. So Alex, as you reach up and you kind of put some pressure on the bottom part of this snake's jaw, for a second it doesn't feel like it has any give.
Mm-hmm.
Make me just a straight intelligence check.
Yep.
Actually, no, you have proficiency in Tinker's tools, don't you?
Yeah.
You can add that then.
+8, so... Oh, wait, no, the toolkit actually does something special because I'm an artificer. What is that? It's like a 30. Let me make sure it's actually a 30. So, it's a 28 to a 30. I'm not sure exactly how my extra proficiency bonus works.
The first thing that happens is you wrench the snake's mouth open. It takes a little more force than you were expecting. And this long, coppery tongue shoots out straight ahead. And as it does, a jet of acid squirts down the hallway. And a line of it falls onto Scrappy and catches Florian as he dives out of the way. The acid falls and hisses along the floor and along the snake as well. However, it looks like it's impacted an invisible barrier right here.
Damn it, Gus, you had to say something, didn't you?
Here's what you notice, though. I want you to imagine, there's a lever that opens a door, opens a mechanism. A little bit of force on the lever can be used to open a mechanism, which would require a great deal of force.
Right.
Still possible to open the mechanism just by grabbing it and wrenching it open. Yep. And you're pretty sure that's what you've done here.
Okay.
And you got Florian covered with acid.
Does it look like did the tongue retract into the mouth after that, or is it just laying out there?
Are you still holding onto it?
I haven't closed it yet.
Okay, as long as you're holding it, it's still poking out.
You hear Gus poke his head around the corner. What's that?
There's probably something over there that triggers an acid trap I just sort of forced open.
Did anything happen to change over on our end?
No.
Yeah, I'll go look near the end of the tail to see if I can find some sort of lever or something.
Okay. So the divot in the center looks identical to the divots that you've seen throughout the rest of the rooms. And it just kind of looks like this tail just disappears in a spiral.
Yeah. And I'll shout back. There's just another one of those divots over here. I could try putting the chip in there, but is there anything else we can do first?
There's a magical invisible barrier until the acid hit it?
So with Florian, you just saw the acid kind of impact some kind of barrier here and splash on the floor in front of it.
So a magic invisible barrier in here, probably guarding the glass piece. I haven't closed this thing yet. Is there any chance I could figure out where I think the mechanism connects to from this side?
Not while you're holding on to it.
Okay.
Hold on to it for a minute. I'll come look at it. And I'll head over there with my Tressum and then look through his eyes, which can see invisible.
Okay.
I've got the lantern, so.
What are the rest of you doing?
I don't know. I'm not going to poke at anything without Lucius's.
I'm going to squat down next to this thing.
Give me a perception check, Lucius.
Try to identify where the end termination point of the spiral is.
Okay.
A perception check?
Give me a perception check.
Florian is just looking at this wall from where the acid splashed.
Okay. So it doesn't look like a wall from here. I mean, it looks like this dead end. It looks like you could walk forward into it.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it doesn't look any different. Lucius, how do we do?
Double checking something real quick because I rolled dog poopy. If I can use a class feature to bump that up.
Dark ones, whatever.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if that's good for.
Dark One's a big cheater.
Yeah. Class
I love that
features. dex saving throw out of D10. It's only a 4, so I don't really see much to be gained if I roll higher than that.
Now you see the snake's tail gets smaller and smaller to the width of a pencil, and then maybe a pin, and then after that, you can't. You're sure it continues, but you can't see more than that. Gus, would you like to try since you're standing there?
Yeah, I'll try, and then after that, I'm going to do a thing. That's a 10.
A 10?
Yeah.
Same thing. You see it to disappear around the size of a needle.
I'm going to push the thing, the divot. I'm just going to push it down like it's a button.
That's not a button. It's a depression in the floor. You have to put your fingers down into it.
Right. Like I said, like it's a button.
Okay, so for the second time today, Gus is going to finger the dungeon.
You got a taste for it the first time.
Yeah, you put your fingers down. Like I said, you can kind of comfortably get 2 fingers down to the first knuckle.
3.
You try what?
Nothing. Sorry. I was making a dirty joke. You
Okay.
started.
Don't do that.
So what do you want to look at over here?
Yeah, what is Seeker and Florian looking at over here?
Yeah, is there anything invisible besides the barrier that my familiar can get eyes on?
No.
Alright, and then I'll try to see if I can push through the barrier.
Okay. When you walk through it, does not seem to be a barrier there at all.
Alright, I'll just start investigating over here to see what it was they were trying to keep acid from.
Give me that roll.
Florian makes his way through once he sees go through.
It's a 25.
25. That's actually pretty good. The tiles on the floor here have some imperfections to them. And it's not like there's cracks or breaks in the tile. It's more like a smear of color that would be very difficult to see if you weren't looking at it very, very closely. And what it looks like, and I'll use a separate color for this. Let's use green, I guess, would be good. Is a second snake. This one, however, instead of being a statue, it's made up, it's just the suggestion of the shape of the snake in this smear of color along the tile. And it runs along the floor and joins up with the second one. And looking back, you can match like the grain of the smear through the tile passes along the main snake down the green one, whereas passing from the main snake down the hallway to where Alex is goes against the grain at that point. So at some point, it looks like the snake leaves the protrusion and just follows this almost imperceptible smudge on the tile.
All right.
Other than that, though, it feels smooth. There's not actually a statue here or anything.
Is there anything that I can press near the head, similar to what Alex found?
No, reaching up to the head, about 5 feet up off the ground, it's the walls, just smooth there.
Finger on my toe tips, hands up beside my head. And I'll just tell them there's some sort of snake that seems to be running along here. It looks like it's actually connected to the part that goes to the end. Looks like yours goes against that. Did the poison look like it wanted to go through the grain?
The poison just shot down along the hallway and splattered against some kind of barrier that you've now walked through.
Do you want me to release this? I think probably everybody should get out of the way before I release it.
I'll hide behind Florian.
Alex, you release it?
Did they respond down here? Gus and Lucius when I called that out?
We're not in the way.
Yeah.
Okay, remember you said that, and I let go of the mouth. Let
Okay.
it do whatever it would do.
And in one smooth motion, the snake's tongue retracts back into the statue and the jaw clamps shut again.
Is there any chance I could investigate this and figure out where the other side of that mechanism is, now that I'm not holding it?
Make an intelligence check.
Yep. That's a 9.
A 9? Nothing leaps out at you. The problem is just glancing around the room, it's just smooth tiles. And then this protrusion of the snake. And if you look very closely, now that Seeker has pointed out, you can see how the grain on the tile follows this second snake into this alcove rather than the main snake that you followed to your dead end.
I'm gonna head back over here and going to the groove of that snake, attempt to just like kind of follow the groove with my fingers to see if I can find any other parts where it breaks away.
And when you do, right here at the joint, at the two of them, you notice this happens to be right at a point where two tiles meet. This main snake head, the one that Alex was playing with, looks like it goes along the floor and then bends downwards slightly here. Whereas the other snake, the one that's linked to the coil, comes along the grain in the smudge. And when you put your fingers down there, you do feel it is loose and can be moved.
Alright, and then I'll try to pry it up.
You try to pry it up. It doesn't come up. It looks like it'll roll back and forth.
Alright, and I'll ask Gus. Hey, Gus, I might need a little bit of your strength here.
Okay. I will go over there.
Seeker says because he doesn't want to roll and then take it away from the party with his -2.
I'll just. I think everybody should, not be standing around me when I do this.
Sure.
I'm close enough that the acid spray doesn't hit here. Plus, I can observe the mechanism if you trigger it. Also, be ready for that acid you were bragging about.
Actually, I want to get a good look at it, so I'm going to hide over here. I hear tell there's a barrier that'll block the acid if I wait over here.
Somebody should probably keep eyes on the over here as well.
Sure.
The Dark One's own eyes?
If that's what you want to call it.
Gus, what do?
I'm gonna slide it. You said it slides back and forth?
No, it feels like it'll roll, actually.
Okay, I'll roll it.
And you start rolling it in one direction, and you realize it's going to take constant force. Not a lot. But when you remove your hand, it's going to roll back to its starting position. And as you roll it, the first thing that happens is this snake head starts to open. And the
Can I do anything to stop that? Gus, stop for a second. Can I do anything to disable that with my thieves' tools?
Perhaps.
Should I go ahead and roll a check?
What are you attempting to do?
I'm attempting to disable the trap so that whatever mechanism would allow it to open will just misfire and it won't be able to continue the mechanical movement of the tongue, basically.
Let's
Sort
see.
of like
So,
backwards.
like, jank a hinge, or if I have to, like, disconnect a lever that multiplies force, something like that.
Make a dexterity Tinker Tools check.
Tinkerer tools, okay.
But make it a disadvantage because you don't actually know how the mechanism works. You're kind of
We're
working
going
with
to
it
have
blindly.
and we're going to do that. That's still a plus. Sorry, this is not what's listed on the sheet, so I got to add a bunch of things. Double proficiency, dex. Oh, God, it's 3. 13.
Okay, so here's what happens. Gus starts to roll the thing. You tell him to stop at a particular point. The point where you tell him to stop, you can just barely get your fingertips and some small tools into the mouth of this snake. Pry it open any further than this, and you're pretty sure you're all going to be met with a jet of acid. What you manage to do is you manage to find out that the groove that the tongue slides along is not part of the main statue. It can't be if it moves. You reason out.
Yep.
So you take a few tools, and you think you manage to loosen this tongue, so you're thinking when Gus continues to roll his part of the snake, the mouth will open, but the tongue will not slide forward.
I'm going to put some distance between me and that acid.
So, you know you've disabled the tongue, you're not sure whether this will stop a jet of acid.
You
Thanks,
were bragging about stopping jets of acid. So this is
Why
all
don't you get Scrappy to push it?
No, too late. Can I just roll it?
All
Just
right.
roll it.
Make a dexterity saving throw at advantage.
Okay. That's 10.
10? Not very good.
Absorb elements.
That was with advantage.
Yeah.
8 points of acid damage.
Okay.
What happens is this time the snake's mouth opens, and the tongue, instead of jutting forward the way it did last time, it kind of like lulls to one side and then drops down and just hangs limply. So when the acid shoots out, instead of having the tongue to direct it, it kind of sprays in a scatter shot in a bunch of directions. So you don't actually take the brunt of the jet of the acid, which is why you rolled at advantage. You still beefed it, but
You're doing
meanwhile,
great, buddy.
as you continue to hold it, an actual snake statue does protrude out of the wall
Hope you
as
get
Gus
sprayed with
rolls
acid.
this all the way past the point where the spray comes out and then holds it there. And this snake, as it comes out, its jaws are already open, and clenched in its fangs, upright, is a diamond-shaped glass chip.
Disappointing.
You took point on this one, Alex. You want to grab it?
I already have one.
Me too,
Lucius,
though.
Florian.
I've already got one.
I'll grab it for now, and then I'll just give it to someone if they have another.
Okay.
All right, I've got it. You can stop now, Gus.
I'm going to let go, and I'm going to get you right, and I'm going to blink.
If you don't want to get sprayed with acid, don't talk about how great you are at getting sprayed with acid.
Are we done with snake?
Yeah, we're done with Snake.
All right.
I don't want to hear anything related to acid coming out of your mouth.
No, it came out of the statue's mouth.
Oh. Oh.
Come back out
Oh,
into the
that-
courtyard.
That hurt me.
Acid, the lightning of the earth.
He slayed me. I'm slayed. I'm dead.
I've just
Alright.
twice I've done that today. I'm really impressed with myself.
So I'll hand the thing to whoever doesn't have one currently. So we
I
should all
don't
have
have-
exactly one at the.
Right. I don't have one.
So Gus is taking the one for snake.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and add to my note that I took the one from not Slim. Yeah, it was Alcoves. Yeah, I took the one from Alcoves.
I'll take. I'll write a note that I took mine from the missed opportunity of not having it be tree.
What's next?
6.
Okay. 6 is not clown. And
Yeah,
we're just gonna keep on, beating that dead horse.
There's an elevator in 12. In Final
If there was a
12.
clown one, I would just quit right here.
That's it. Not doing it.
Dolls.
Yeah, and sending Scrappy through about 10 seconds before everybody else.
Okay.
Oh wait, hold on. Do you guys want to give me a few minutes to do something about that acid damage Scrappy took between these? We're not in any hurry, right?
Sure. Yeah. No.
Go for
So
it.
yeah, Alex will pull out some steel wool and a bunch of iron and start replacing the melted metal and buffing out the acid,
So
scarring.
we're taking care of this before we go into tree?
Yeah.
Okay.
That takes 4 minutes
Sure.
of casting endings.
So after 4 minutes, you send Scrappy through.
Yep.
And he gets a whole bucket full of acid dumped on him. Like, you can't do that on television style.
Who's the first one through after Scrappy?
Oh, Gus.
I'll
Gus.
be after Gus.
Here's what happens.
If I get acid dumped on me, I'm done playing D&D today.
You come into the circle, right?
Uh-huh.
And you're standing, so the circle is at your feet. And then immediately, the force of gravity shifts 90 degrees. So you're pulled to your left, and you fall down on top of Scrappy, who has already gone through this condition. And then, in short order, the rest of your companions come through and all fall on top of you.
Well, on the plus side, the guy wearing plate mail didn't fall on the wizards. So-
Yeah, no, I'm happy about that at the very
We also
least.
didn't drop Scrappy on anyone.
So you can
Seeker
imagine
falls on
this.
top of Scrappy, shrugs, and just sits there.
You can imagine this as kind of a side view.
Yep.
So to your right hand, you'd have the wall where 5 feet up, every 10 feet is the divot. And on your left hand side, about 12 feet away from you, have what would be the ceiling. And you're walking around what would be the floor. What's interesting, though, is that tangled up all through the space are tree branches. Gnarled branches with... you guys have a light source, yes?
Yeah.
So very,
Yeah, Lucius says
Lantern
that.
revealing on Scrappy's back and a coin of continual light.
very vividly green, broad leaves. And they're softly swaying back and forth as though there is a breeze, but you cannot actually feel any breeze. And in the distance here, you can see where the branches are coming off of a center tree trunk-like structure, growing #downwards into what is technically the left-hand wall.
So the first thing I want to do is I want to try blinking and see if, like, being next to this versus standing on it makes any effect on the teleporting.
If standing next to it?
Yeah.
No, if you're not touching it, nothing happens.
Okay, so and then I'll reach over, put my hand on it, and blink,
And that's how you get back out.
and I'll come back. Yeah, just so you guys know. Do you think they used more gravity magic, or were they just assholes and built this at 90 degrees?
I don't know. We
Yes.
Zelda 2 now.
This is the Zelda 2 dungeon. So
That just
Lucius,
seems
moving much
wasteful.
further forward than that is actually more and more difficult as you're pushing your way through these branches. But when you get to this position, you can see the main tree trunk takes up almost the entire 10 feet in front of you. And it grows downward, not very far, but into soil. Like you could climb down 5 or 7 feet, and there's densely packed soil with tree roots poking up at odd angles that go further down.
So, does anybody have a shovel? Also, I'm gonna just hack a path with my cutlass
Okay.
to Lucius, so it's not so difficult.
Just chopping away at the tree.
Well, you just small branches, just bushwhacking a little bit.
Your
Okay.
machete.
It's not a machete; it's a cutlass.
So it's not really for chopping trees at all. It's like a bad tool for the job.
Listen, if I could cut a dude's head off, I could cut a freaking tree branch.
What's next?
This
You're
bad boy.
down,
I'm gonna climb up into these branches and inspect the quote-unquote ceiling.
The quote-unquote ceiling is identical to the tile walls that you've seen in other sections, in other rooms.
Do the branches like stop at the wall, or do they like go into the wall?
It's like they're confined by the space. It's like if they
Okay.
weren't confined by the space, they would grow out even sooner. So in this sense, the dimensions of the thing are very, very abstract, and they're very
Yeah,
off
yeah.
because you have these long branches, but this tree trunk is only about 12 feet, quote unquote, tall.
Does the tree trunk end like naturally? Like, does it get narrower, or does it just kind of abruptly end as if it were like cut off magically?
It looks natural in the sense that the trunk gets narrower towards the top.
Yep.
It doesn't grow directly into the ceiling, and it looks like if it weren't confined, it would grow out even more.
So the strange thing is, plants tend to grow towards light. Can you cover the coin and the lantern, and we'll see if there's any natural light in here?
You know, slip the coin into my pocket,
Okay? No, it's just dark.
pull it back out.
Hmm.
No dice there.
You wanna? What do y'all want to do? You want to jump down onto the tree, or we digging down?
I want to carefully climb down? Question mark the tree.
Okay?
Well, it's called tree. It's not called dirt.
You climb down, and like I said, you get about 5 or 7 feet down from this position, and now you're standing on the soil. And it's very cramped, because this tree trunk is almost 10 full feet around at the base. So it's a very uncomfortable position to be in down here, but you're not going any lower than this.
I don't have anything magical to get down here. It's just going to be elbow grease to dig through here if we were to dig through it.
Okay, so every other one has been a puzzle so far. What do we think the puzzle could be with this tree? Right? There weren't any that weren't puzzles. I mean, I guess the alcoves one was more of a obstacle than a puzzle.
I mean, if we approach it from the tree as an obstacle, we could burn the tree down.
Lucius knocks on the tree. Does it seem like it's hollow, or does it seem like it's pretty solid all the way through?
Seems like it's solid all the way through. It's just a very ridiculous shape. It's like the trunk of the tree at the base looks like it should be much, much taller than, what is it, 10 or 12 feet. And it's not.
Like a squished, like a giant tree that got squished.
Kind of.
I'm just gonna kind of start searching through the branches to see if I can like wave them and hear any of those little shards tinkling.
No.
Can
you
I
cannot.
make a nature check to see if I know anything about this type of tree or anything relevant like that?
Yeah, go ahead and make a check.
Okay.